Come to me you have today, but what will you take away from this creature of the grey? May it be something passé or a thing of horseplay. No matter what it may be, soon enough we shall see. While I would love to rhyme the whole time, my brain just can't work in that environment, so just be happy for what you got. Now then, let's take a look at the only zebra in the whole show, Zecora. Since zebras come from Africa, it's quite clear why show's creators decided to model almost everything for this character with heavy African culture influences, be those accessories for the character or her home. Everything immediately screams that African vibes, and to be frank, I love it! It's rather interesting that they chose to make such a character as Zecora for the show, as she certainly feels very different from most characters. Then again, you can say the same about griffins, but unlike those nature's mistakes, we don't get to see more of this alluring zebra country Twilight speaks of. Well, that's for now. Who knows, maybe one of these days we might be blessed and we get to see an episode about it. Anyways, when it comes to character design, the only reference point for zebras we have is Zecora and Zecora alone. Still, if you take a look a little closer, you'll see small details that artists have given to her and how it differs from pony design. Thinner legs, exposed tail, no eyelashes, even though Zecora is female, and sharper muzzle, not to mention stripes and monochrome cutie mark. Here's the thing, show's creators did not need to include these details and we wouldn't bat an eye, but they did take that extra step, and for that, we get a completely unique character, which not only is great but also shows us that they really care about the show and they are trying to make the best thing possible. Not a lot of kid-oriented cartoons can say that. As for Zecora's voice actress, well, there's a saying. The worst thing you can do to an artist is tell them that their work is perfect. So, you know what I mean. But visuals aside, what about the character as a person? Originally, Zecora was intended to fill the role of the wise old sage. And sure enough, Zecora fits the role to a T. It's been said that Zecora was put in the show so other characters in need could go and ask for help, which is more or less what Zecora ended up with. As a fun little trip down the memory lane, let's quickly go over each episode Zecora had some significance. Starting with bridal gossip, Zecora is portrayed as this mysterious, contemplative creature, the wise old sage archetype in its purest. You would expect such character to know all or at least have some sort of answer for everything. And episodes like Secret of My Excess, Cutie Pox, Just for Sidekicks, Season 4 opener episodes, and What About Discord only solidifies this fact that she knows everything. But I do like that writers didn't go quite as far as to make Zecora all-knowing. In Swarm of the Century, she recognizes the problem, but does not have an answer, and that's a shame that it's the only instance. Though you can argue that in Philly Vanilli this is repeated. I like this episode for a bit different reasons. See, our story protagonists come to Zecora seeking help, and instead of having a direct solution, she offers an alternative. That's also a callback to the very first time we see our striped sage. Not only continuity is preserved, but also cleverly utilized, so really, well done writers. Another interesting use of Zecora we get when the great and powerful Trixie is back. Zecora teaches Twilight about magic, which to me just furthers the question. Who is this zebra and why a non-magical creature knows so much about magic? I absolutely love this! And better yet, moments later she offers further guidance to Twilight. Here it must be noted that Zecora was intended to be Twilight's mentor. Well, possibly more so than the false god Celestia. And with that one scene, Zecora had done way more than we see Celestia ever do, which is another reason why I adore Zecora. And speaking of mentorship, the way Applebloom works with our zebra too is interesting. There could come time when one day everyone would turn to her for advice, just like they do with Zecora now. Who knows? Still, there's a lot more Zecora can offer to both us, the viewers, and characters in the story. A great example of this was demonstrated in one of my all-time favorite episodes, Lune Eclipsed. Here we have not only wonderful visual character design, but also visual effects. Well, Zecora basically works as the storyteller. Here it's done so well, you don't really notice that it's basically an exposition dump. Now see how it must be done, Celestia. This is how you make both story and character intriguing. Unfortunately, the more seasons pass, the less we see of our striped friend. In season 6, she only appears as a set piece, and that's a great tragedy. Zecora still has a lot to offer, and it's sad to see writers basically ignoring her. Imagine if Uncle Iroh just stopped appearing in Avatar series after second season. I think most people would just give up on the show. Sure, Zecora is not quite that magnificent, but I blame writers for this. In the end though, Zecora does not have notable character arc. But, as said before, she is the wise sage, the one that offers guidance for our characters, and this is indispensable for a good story. A character that everyone can look up to. Oh, and throughout my ramblings, I bet that someone already noticed that I carelessly have forgotten one other appearance Zecora made in the show, the Season 5 finale. Now that one's special for me. It encompasses everything I talked about just now, and frankly, I could spend next few days talking about it, but you know what? I'll leave it for some other time. A time when I'll talk about my queen.